1845. 37 German-speaking Jewish immigrants come together on the Lower East Side to establish the first Reform congregation in the city. They call themselves Emmanuel, God is with us. Some of these men had gathered the year prior and formed a Kultusverein, or culture society. While their spiritual hopes were plenty, their material resources were limited. Their first place of worship was a rented room on the second floor of a private residence at the corner of Grand and Clinton Streets. 1845 to 55. Rabbi Leo Merzbacher serves as the congregation's first rabbi. Merzbacher led the congregation in its many early innovations within Reform Judaism, such as family seating and one-day festivals. Among his contributions was a new prayer book, published in 1855. The congregation continues to use a version of this prayer book until the early 1890s. 1848. The congregation acquires a former Methodist church at 56 Christie Street and commissions noted Jewish architect Leopold Eidlitz to renovate it. 1851. Emmanuel purchases land in Brooklyn for a cemetery, spanning almost 45 acres in the Cypress Hills neighborhood. Today, Salem Fields features lush landscaping and winding paths lined with grand mausoleums. 1854. Emmanuel outgrows its building on Christie Street and continues to move uptown, purchasing and remodeling, once again, a former church, this time on East 12th Street. 1856. Following the death of Rabbi Merzbacher, the congregation appoints Dr. Samuel Adler as its rabbi. A native of Worms, Germany, he was a known leader in the Reform movement before moving to New York. Adler, like his predecessor, preaches sermons in German. 1868. Emmanuel builds its first building from the ground up at the corner of Fifth Avenue and East 43rd Street. A critic of the time calls it the finest example of Moorish architecture in the Western world. Leopold Eidlitz and Henry Fernbach are the architects.
1874. Dr. Gustav Gottheil is Emmanuel's first rabbi to conduct worship services in English. Born in 1827 in Prussia, he served as rabbi in Manchester, England, before arriving in the U.S. He is the author of the first Jewish hymnal printed in America and the founder of the Association of Eastern Rabbis. Dr. Gottheil advances the cause of Reform Judaism in the United States and is a liturgical innovator. 1874, Temple Beth-El, which will merge with Emmanuel in 1926, is formed by the consolidation of two established congregations, Anshe Chesed and Adath Jeshurun. They select David Einhorn as their first rabbi. The congregation is located at Lexington Avenue and East 63rd Street. 1888, Dr. Joseph Silverman, a member of Hebrew Union College's second graduating class, joins the rabbinical staff of Emmanuel, the first American-born rabbi to lead the congregation. 1891, Temple Emanu-El builds its first building from the ground up on the corner of 5th Avenue and East 76th Street. Arnold Brummer is the architect. Known for its large, faceted dome, the structure becomes a landmark on 5th Avenue. 1903, Oscar S. Strauss, a member of Bethel, is appointed Secretary of Commerce and Labor by President Theodore Roosevelt. He is the first Jew to hold a cabinet post in the United States. Louis Marshall, later to become the Temple's president, along with fellow members Felix Warburg, Adolf Lewinson, Daniel Guggenheim, and Rabbi Judah L. Magnus, helped create the American Jewish Committee as a response to pogroms in Eastern Europe. 1918, 229 members of the congregation serve in World War I. 7 make the supreme sacrifice. A commemorative honor roll is erected in the temple. 1922, the Women's Auxiliary, now the Women of Emanu-El, is founded. 1926, Emanu-El's membership has tripled since 1895. The Midtown building is no longer a conducive place for worship. Midtown is overflowing with the construction of skyscrapers, and congregants begin moving further uptown. Emanu-El consolidates with Temple Bethel. The two congregations come together as one and purchase a piece of land on 5th Avenue at 65th Street, the site of the Astor family mansion.
1927, the Men's Club is founded. 1928, Mr. Henry M. Toke, the temple treasurer, and his wife Dora donate their family's collection of Judaica to the temple. 1929, construction of the new temple takes 2 years. The first worship service to be held is Rosh Hashanah 1929, and the temple is formally dedicated in January 1930. 1942, the Oscar Mayer Wise Hall becomes a USO canteen for Allied servicemen and women. Between 1942 and 1945, more than 1,350,000 members of the military visit Emanu-El. 1943, Emanu-El's women establish a Red Cross unit, producing 75,000 surgical bandages each month to help the war effort. 1945, Emanu-El begins the broadcast of its Sabbath services on radio station WQXR, the same year the daily sunset service begins. Emanu-El marks its first century with a 7th-month celebration, lectures, concerts, and a series of interfaith forums. By the end of World War II, 591 members of the congregation had served in the military, and 22 were killed. A commemorative plaque is erected to honor and memorialize them. 1948, Dr. Julius Mark, a formal naval chaplain, becomes senior rabbi. 1951, to serve the needs on the Upper East Side for early childhood education, the Emanu-El Nursery School is established. 1964, to accommodate the growing congregation and religious school, the Goldsmith Religious School building is dedicated. The 6-story structure with its Lowenstein Auditorium provides classroom space for 1,000 students.
1973, Senior Rabbi Dr. Nathan A. Perelman retires after almost 42 years of service to the congregation. 1974, a member of the Emanu-El Rabbinate since 1962, Dr. Ronald B. Sobel becomes Senior Rabbi. 1975, Dr. Sobel becomes the first rabbi to speak from the pulpit of St. Patrick's Cathedral. The rector of St. Patrick's, Monsignor James F. Rigney, takes the pulpit at Emanu-El, leading to ongoing dialogue between the two houses of worship. 1982, the lay-led Sunday lunch program is established in order to serve the growing needs of New Yorkers facing food insecurity. 1985, Rabbi Linda Henry Goodman becomes Emanu-El's first female rabbi. 1988, Rabbi Amy B. Ehrlich joins the clergy. 1995, the congregation celebrates its 150th anniversary with a year-long series of religious, educational, and musical events around the theme, A Celebration of Understanding, Ourselves, Our Friends, Our City, Our Future. A new Torah scroll is commissioned thanks to the generosity of Herbert and Eileen Bernard, and historic pilgrimage from the Lower East Side to each of our past buildings was undertaken. 1997, the Herbert and Eileen Bernard Museum opens to the public to educate and display the congregation's collection of ritual and ceremonial objects. 1998, the congregation streams an audio broadcast of the Passover Seder, the first religious service on the internet. 1999, the Ivan M. Stettenheim Library is rededicated on the 5th floor of the community house. 2001, the Skirball Center for Adult Jewish Learning is established. 2002, a member of Emanu-El's rabbinate since 1973, Dr. David M. Posner becomes senior rabbi.
2004, Cantor Lori Corson becomes Emanu-El's first woman cantor. Our music program, influenced by classical European Jewish composers of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, with cantor, choir, and organ, bringing the Jewish musical motifs of Tzolzer, Lewandowski, and Naumburg to life, broadens to include contemporary composers. 2006, the Temple completes a 4-year top-to-bottom renovation. 2007, Marcia Waxman is elected as the first woman president in Emanu-El's history. The religious school is reorganized and named the Department of Lifelong Learning, and in 2013, Rabbi Joshua M. Davidson becomes senior rabbi. 2015, the congregation begins to live stream worship services over the internet and on Facebook. 2016, Mo Glasman becomes senior cantor. Piano, organ, violin, bass, and percussion begin to elevate contemporary musical offerings. Today's music program embraces a variety of genres to make our services welcoming to all. 2017, Rabbi Sarah Y. Sapaden joins the clergy team. The Skirball Center becomes the Temple Emanu-El Stryker Center, thanks to the generosity of the Stryker family. The Stryker Center has hosted 3 past presidents, Supreme Court justices, and a multitude of world-class speakers. The center hosts over 60,000 in-person audience members annually and another nearly 500,000 people through its virtual programming. 2020 to 2022. A new machzor and prayer book are created for the congregation, a special blending of the traditions of the Union Prayer Book and contemporary Reform liturgy. 2022, Emanu-El Downtown is established in order to meet the growing needs of the downtown Jewish community. The Stryker Outreach Center is created to connect with Jewish young professionals in the city. Rabbi Sarah H. Reines, who grew up at Temple Emanu-El, joins the clergy. Cantor Sarah Anderson joins the clergy.